Well, KEI Industries, the stock has seen close to around a 45% up move in the past year. To discuss the demand trends, the demand outlook as well from year on, as commodity costs moderate from highs, we're joined by Mr. Anil Gupta, the CMD at the company. Hi, Mr. Gupta. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining in. Well, we're reading a couple of sales notes and they indicate that demand and volume growth has been quite strong. Now, on wires, it's strong, but they're saying that cables is far better. Give us a sense about how demand is shaping up on ground. And also your market share, it's been improving in the last few years. Have you outpaced the market growth?
Yes, you are right that because of the demand from infrastructure and government utilities as well as private capex, the volume growth in the demand of cable is quite strong. And we could see a volume growth of around 20% in this financial year compared to last year. So far as wires is concerned, there is also a growth in that, but little lesser than cables.
Okay.
And we as a company have always tried to outpace the average industry growth or average market growth by around 2 to 2.5%. So as guided in the initial Q1 of this year, we have guided that we should grow by around 17 to 18% overall for the full year, and I think we should be surpassing that. Okay. So, and we have a very healthy order book position at the moment.
All right, 17 to 18%, that's the revenue growth that you're guiding for the year?
Yes, I'm saying revenue.
And what about, since you're saying that you're growing at a faster clip than what the industry is growing at, I'm guessing your market share would have improved. That's been the case for the last few years. But in the recent past, what is the market share and where do you see that number headed?
In fact, we have really not calculated our market share, but we are just focused on our own working and our growth. So maybe that we might have gained another 1% in the market share, but I mean these are not firm numbers.
Okay, so we're looking at a 20% volume growth, as you said. Can you tell us, with the inflationary environment, or rather with the raw material prices cooling off, are you expecting any improvement in your margins in the second half of the year? You're currently sitting at about 10%. Do you think it can do better?
See, margins are always a matter of value addition on the input cost what we do. I've been consistent in saying that when the prices were increasing, then also we were able to maintain our margins. And as the prices cools down, everybody corrects the prices according to the input cost. So is our case. So we expect that margin should be anywhere within the range of 10.5 to 11% for the whole year. That is what I am expecting. So little improvement compared to last year.
So this 10.5 to 11%, are you taking into consideration competitive pressures as well? Because in the wires business particularly, competition has gone up. Are you seeing some pricing pressure there?
Yeah, I think in wire space, the competition has gone up, and every company has its own market space, its own brand positioning. So wires are mostly sold through the brand positioning and our relationship and penetration with the developers. So I think that we should be able to maintain the margins in the wires as well.
Mr. Gupta, if you can tell us a little bit more about where is the push, this entire, the talk has been that government infrastructure push is coming up in a big way in various sectors. What are you seeing? What kind of push are you seeing? If you can qualitatively describe that for us.
See, recently, government utilities, like especially the power distribution companies, they have come out with the large tenders, which is called RDSS. These schemes are funded by REC and PFC, and a huge amount of tenders are being awarded to various EPC contractors, and the significant 50% of the value of the contracts are only cables. So this should see a good opportunity in this year as well as the next 2 years for the cable industry to reap in. Secondly, there is a strong demand coming from private capex, especially the brownfield projects, especially cement, steel, and also the solar projects. Apart from that, metro rail projects, suburban rail projects, and and overhead to underground conversion in the highways. That is also seeing a good traction, which I said that this is the infra pipeline, which should give a substantial demand to the cable industry. In our case, we are seeing a good growth in the exports as well of the cables.
This power thing that you said, what is the size of it? You said 50% is cables. Can you describe it value-wise? And the projects have been put together. Tendering has taken place.
In my opinion, the value of that overall tenders is more than 1 lakh crore. And so far, around 20,000 crore worth of tenders have been awarded by some utilities to the various contractors. So, rest tendering process is in pipeline, and I think should be completed in next 6 months. So this is done by all the states. So I think this will see a good demand for the cable industry in the next financial year.
Okay, all right. Mr. Gupta, what about your pricing? You're at a bit of a discount, right, in comparison to the market leader, that's Polycab. Could you confirm that? How much is that? It's traditionally been, I think, around 4% odd.
No. That we are marginally lower in the case of pricing in the wire segment compared to, but not at all in cable segment. I mean, in fact, we always maintain a parity in the cable prices with the competitors.
Okay, so with regard to the wire segment, what are you going to be focusing on? Narrowing the gap with the largest player, or focusing on volumes and gaining market share?
We are already narrowing the gap year after year.
Yes.
So every year we should be narrowing the gap by approximately 1%. But definitely I see a more competition in the wire segment, because not a lot of new players are coming up. So we should see that what will happen to the competition in the next 2-3 years.
Okay. All right, we leave it at that, sir. Thanks a lot for joining in, and all the best. That's KEI Industries. By the way, there's a new IPO that opens today, so let's talk a little bit about that. Landmark Cars is the IPO that opens today. It's an issue site.